It was almost midnight when the last bus rolled up to Willow Street. The headlights cut through the cold air, a soft beam glowing against the mist. Inside the small station, Margaret sat on the same wooden bench she'd used every night for the past 2 years. 63 years old, wrapped in a worn brown coat, she looked like someone waiting for a memory to come back, not a bus. The driver opened the doors with a hiss, and the air carried the faint smell of diesel and rain. Margaret didn't move right away. She just stared at the empty street outside, the flickering street lamp, the quiet houses, the way the world seemed to pause for her. "Evenin', ma'am," the driver said kindly. He'd seen her before, many times, always alone, always at the same hour. "Evenin'," she replied softly, her voice calm, steady. She stepped on board, coins clinking in her hand. She always sat near the window, at second row from the back. That was their seat, hers and Thomas's. Her husband used to ride home with her after his late shifts at the mill. They'd sit on hands, watching the city slide by. When he passed, she kept the habit. The bus had become her link to the life that used to be. The bus rattled forward through the sleeping town. Margaret looked out, watching the fog roll over the sidewalks. Every stop was a familiar ghost. The bakery where Thomas bought her cinnamon rolls, the small park where they once fed birds, the corner store that still had the same faded open sign glowing in the dark. A young man got on at Fifth Avenue. Maybe 25, maybe less. He was tired, eyes hollow but kind. He nodded politely and sat across from her. Margaret gave him a small smile, the kind only older women give when they see something familiar in youth. Exhaustion, but hope underneath it. "You ride this late often?" he asked after a while. "Every night," she said. "Helps me think." He nodded, then looked out the window. "You got family?" "I did," she said simply. Time changes the shape of it. He didn't ask more. Some silences don't need filling. As the bus moved through downtown, Margaret's reflection blended with the lights outside. She imagined Thomas there beside her, his laugh, his hand, the way he used to hum quietly when he was happy. Sometimes, she almost felt the seat dip like it used to when he sat down. Halfway down Willow Street, the bus stopped suddenly. The driver leaned out his window, cursing softly. Construction again. Margaret didn't mind. She liked the pauses. They gave her room to remember. She turned to the young man. "You know," she said, "the trick to a long life isn't how much time you get. It's how much you keep alive inside it." He looked at her, maybe confused, maybe thinking about his own life. "You mean like memories?" "Memories," she nodded. "Love, regret, all of it. You can't live empty." The bus started moving again, the engine groaning under the weight of the night. Margaret closed her eyes for a moment. In her mind, she was back in 1978, standing in a summer field with Thomas. The sun was high, her hair lighter, her laughter brighter. She could still feel his hand on her shoulder, steady and warm. When she opened her eyes again, the bus had reached the last stop. "End of the line, ma'am," the driver called gently. Margaret smiled. "I know?" She stood slowly, her knees stiff but strong enough. The young man watched her as she stepped off. Outside, the night was quiet. The air smelled like wet leaves. The bus pulled away, and for a brief second, the headlights lit up her face. Soft, lined, peaceful. She walked toward the small hill at the edge of town, where the old willow trees grew. Beneath one of them was a simple gravestone. She brushed the leaves off it with her glove. "Evening, Thomas," she whispered. The bus was late tonight. And she sat there under the tree, the wind moving through her hair, the town lights blinking far below. She didn't need to say more. He was listening. She could feel it. The world kept moving, quiet and patient. Another night, another ride, another memory alive in